Hello, and welcome back to my GTNH playthrough. It is Wednesday, April 15th, and we're just kind of over here floating around because, well, it was a pretty busy last couple days. Made a pretty good amount of progress, though I honestly don't think it'll be that long of an episode because there's not too much to show. Kind of go through a lot of it. But basically, if you can tell by the title, we essentially did everything for Infinity Armour set, as well as got a few other things like in mainline progression. But real quick to go through the Infinity Armour. So the first thing I did to start working on that, which just a friendly reminder where we left off, is I had essentially finished off crafting this in creative pool. This is the second one. My first one's over by the Terra Steel way out in the desert. But we went through Botania. The whole reason I went through Botania, I forgot that's just kind of floating there. Anyways, was to be able to craft this guy, this is the Draconic Fusion multi-block. And specifically to be able to craft this guy, we needed a Gaia plate, or dense Gaia plate technically, so 9 Gaia ingots. Now, technically I could have stopped where I was and just gone straight into this, but honestly, I wanted to get to the creative mana pool. That way, the next time I have to dip into Botania, it's not a pain in the butt. I didn't make any more progress today. I did technically craft the stuff to be able to upgrade this guy to be AE2 compatible, but I will kind of just do that on the side. Same with progress on Witchery, because I would like to kind of passively set up a bunch of stuff for this, which I don't know why it's not importing. Interesting. Whatever. I don't know why that's not working as I would expect it to right now, where these are sitting there. But, oh, actually, you know what? I do know why. But anyways, that's not important. So I do want to kind of keep moving along on magic on the side, just because it is kind of a nice refresher from the main thing. But like I said, so the first thing I did was craft this guy. This is, as it stands right now, is the tier 3 multi-block. Essentially for each of the Draconic cores. We go from Draconic to Wyvern to Awakened, and then looks like there's one more, the Chaotic core, but I can't craft this yet. Each one can essentially requires the next tier of machine. So what I did was I crafted one, did the research with it, and then immediately used the other 32 to upgrade the casing, to upgrade the multi-block all the way up, right up to 3. And then as soon as I had these guys available, I started working on essentially all the different, or not all the different things, but these Draconic weapons. And once I was able to start working on these, I immediately put them to use into being able to craft all these Infinity weapons. Aside from upgrading this multi-block, though, I was kind of happy with the state of the base, because it really just came down to loads and loads of pattern, basically patterning out every single weapon in the game, as it felt like. Same with a bunch of the armor sets. Downstairs, for the amount of patterns I had to do, I had to add 2 new alchemical or arcane assemblers. I had to add another interface over here for the infusion. I did not have to expand it anymore, luckily. This was the one Lepiton 20 wasn't required enough pedestals that there was nothing here that did it. And the other thing I did was a real minor. It also, since it requires all the weapons, like different magic type of weapons, essentially, one of them was blood magic. So I did go through and add a ton of dislocation runes and speed runes just to speed up the fountain here. Which, as you can see, it kind of struggles now because I have too many speed runes on here. So I might just, I might go through and fix this later to not be as many speed runes, but we'll see. And then one of the things you might notice, I got a bunch of different colors here. This was just for my own convenience. So normally this guy just passively makes me slates, but instead of having it so it was like competing between the passive process and the interface here, which normally is not a big deal, but if you're in this case where I needed to make tons and tons of blood stuff, I just colored all these different so I could just break this conduit, so essentially the passive system shut off without me having to actually break anything, and then only the interface was online. I'd say of note from the whole crafting process for the different Infinity things, the only thing that really stood out as being kind of a pain was for this blood infused stuff, specifically blood infused ingots. These guys, there's two different versions, and I swear the first time I did this it turned out into the darker red one, but then it was definitely giving me the light red one, so there was a little bit of a jam up there, but otherwise everything went pretty smooth. The only other hiccups I can think of were just like sometimes the game was just being wonky. Like at one point this link broke, so eventually the infusions all just shut off, so that was the thing. And it probably, I don't remember hitting it with anything, but it might have just been like lag, and maybe I hit it, like did like a ghost hit on it or something and broke it, but it works now, so can't complain. But of course, it did doing all that ultimately to make the Infinity items. It ended up working out that at some point, whoops, excuse me, I ended up setting up all these different dire crafting tables. It made it far less annoying to have so many of these. And then I just kind of, the last two I cycled through like random recipes for whatever I needed at the moment. But you can see like I have the Infinity pants and stuff here. And of course, with that, I got basically everything for the quest book for it. All done. Now, I'm not wearing them because honestly, like they look cool. Whoops. But not really a big fan of their functionality comparatively to the Quantum and Gravity suit. Like, I like the wings that come out when you fly and stuff, but this thing doesn't have night vision unless you enchant it. I don't know. It feels weird to enchant, but I guess I could. And then the flying slower than before, but it's not the worst. Like it doesn't have the boost, which kind of sucks because it just makes it slower. So I'll probably only use it when I need to. Like I know one of the things I've known about for a while is like fighting the Chaos Dragon, and if you don't have this Infinity Armour, it just kills you instantly. Like it does like an admin command kill. So, but either way, I was pretty excited how this crafted. It's also kind of funny is for this being a big progress point way back, it took like a minute or two to be able to craft a whole second set, because obviously, as you see, I still have my current one, but had to craft a different one to get these. So then the other thing I did was pretty straightforward, but I did finally decide on a location for, if it loads, my plasma forge. I know I'm going to end up with more than one, so I think I'm just going to kind of like go along the mountain here and do them. So I got this guy set up. To get it to run though, obviously I needed to get the fuels, and I've been saying that for like a week. But I haven't set up a passive version of them yet, but I set up these guys for on demand for all the different ones, and as you can see from the quest book, was able to get all of these pretty painless. Some of these recipes are longer, especially the excited one, and then once I had these guys set up, I properly set up this guy, so just running at UIV right now with 2 overclocks, and then the rest of the setup just like a standard any other multi-block where I've got the dual interfaces, blocking mode with a advanced blocking card. Into input, I use a super bus, and then I use 2 quad hatches just because there's, oh, interesting, apparently did not use everything from this. I wonder why, but I wonder if that's causing any jams up. Fluid cell, weird. Whee! Yeah, I wonder why that happened. But, yeah, so I got this set up. And because I got this set up, right now the only recipe we have in here is for the Tesseract. was able to craft a bunch of Tesseracts, as we can see here. I then, back over in this building, I just figured I would keep it going for these forge related stuff. I've got a new maceration stack set up for running at UIV for grinding up the Tesseracts, and then this guy for making the excited Tesseracts, which I haven't crafted one of those, but you can see I crafted a bunch of Tesseracts. And then the last thing I did, which I hope there is one in here because I left it on, was I crafted a transcendent ingot. Now, this should be a quest, maybe? Yeah. Quest complete, Tesseract. So, the actual setting up that ingot, I did have to do a little bit. This is probably the only ingot in the system that I actually have a pattern set up for the, this is the wrong tab, for the hot ingot, nope, transcendent, yeah, right here, we got the transcendent hot ingot, and that's because for these transcendent ones, if you look, to cool the ingot, you actually need to provide it 2 different liquids as well. So I did make a pattern for this one. And then in the EBF, you also need a fluid. So I did have to set up the standard dual interface setup on this guy, as well as the vacuum freezer down here. And then for that, I also because right now all the hot ingots just divert into here, I did have to add a exception over here for transcendent ones. But otherwise, that was pretty much it. But it was, like I said, it was a lot of like repetitive work and a ton of pattern inputs to do that. I think I went through like 3 stacks of patterns to get everything to be able to craft those guys. But overall, pretty smooth process. And then the very last thing I did, which is kind of fun, is I also crafted the first UIV machine hull, which should, bring us into tier 11 UIV. So that's also exciting. So we're getting there. Now it does look like I might have been a little baited by going to the Mark IV Fusion, but I don't know. It's so much faster for Hypogen, so I don't think so. But I see the Mark V on the horizon. I'm kind of excited about this guy, the Forge of Gods, just because it looks cool. I don't even know where I'm going to put this guy, but because he's massive, among other things. So there's a lot of, this should be exciting tier, though. Let's see. Retrieval task, fluid tasks. I just need to hold a bucket of cells for these. Empty. Either way, I'll figure that out here in a minute. But yeah, I'll have to go through and start getting like the standard setups for all the different transcendent stuff. I don't even know what this proto halconite steel wire is, among other things. So yeah, a lot of stuff to look forward to, a lot of progress. I'm excited to be moving onwards in the quest book, but there's again still a few things to clean up. Like I did start crafting the stuff for this tier 8 water before I get too ahead of myself, and then I never did do a QFT, so I need to do that, and then at some point these assembly line casings as well. So a bunch of stuff to do, a bunch of stuff to clean up. But yeah, I'll leave it there. I don't know what I'm going to work on tonight, if anything. I've been playing a lot the last 2 days, so I might give it a break for the day and go finish up Platinum. But either way, appreciate you for watching. Hope you have a good night, and I will see you tomorrow. Goodbye.